Team USA won gold. Woo!
For the seventh consecutive time.
Cart, the real United States men's national team has taken home the gold medal. They are atop the podium. U18 FIBA championships. Let's go.
What do you mean the real United States? What are
Well,
you
I
talking
just
about?
feel like you've been trying to, make the whole like football, like Hooley and the boys, Berhalter and the squad. And
Oh, okay. I got you. I didn't know where you were going with that one, but I hear you.
well, like when I say United States men's national team, do you think of Jeremiah Fears and Daniel Jacobson, or do you think of the team that got 5-1 pieced up in a friendly?
I think of the terrorist that is Greg Berhalter. No, he's not a terrorist. Coach Tommy Lloyd.
I just want to say the fact that that sport calls those matches friendlies, there was nothing friendly about that 5-1 beatdown. Like we gotta change the terminology of that, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to work on that after we discuss the U.S. national under 18 men's basketball team making their way to a seventh consecutive gold medal led by Darius Acuff, who was named most outstanding player of the tournament. And also the Twitter account, the official one for this team, I think did the one of the greatest things that they could have given to us that I'm disappointed didn't get enough love and that we didn't come up with. They called Darius Acuff Darius A Tough. And that is the greatest single thing they could give us in this tournament. And I will be using that moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, can we do like takeaways? Can we just jump into that? In the championship game, USA beat Argentina 110-70. Everybody played well for the most part. Finally got my Jasper Johnson breakout game, by the way. I've been waiting for like my favorite point guard recruit in the class to do great things. And he was really, really good. 4 for 8 from three, finished with 19 points. I feel like that's really the only time in this tournament where there was like a moment for Jasper Johnson. So I just want to make sure we don't skate over that. But let's be real, this was a 40-point victory and everybody was good. Can we do some takeaways from this tournament?
Sure. Would you like to go? Would you like me to provide mine first, or what are we talking here?
We can go back and forth. I have three rather large takeaways from this tournament that like I feel very, very confident going forward.
Okay. Well, I'll start with mine first, and then we'll go back and forth here. My biggest takeaway is that the under 18 level for the rest of the world stinks. Like they can't mess with us. They're bad. Argentina is bad. Brazil's bad. Canada's bad. Straight up.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, at least the people playing in this tournament were bad. But I am workshopping a take that like the best players in the world didn't play in this tournament in this age group.
I think you're giving them. I mean, that might be true to be
I think
honest,
I
but
think it's
like,
completely true. But we'll move on. Okay, takeaway number one for me. Darius Acuff is a problem, and that kid's going to be an insanely good college basketball player for one season, and then he's going to be a lottery pick and a pro. This dude's a killer. I think he's one of the very best guard prospects that has come through American basketball in a really long time. He is way better than I realized, and I already loved him. My team's been recruiting this kid for like 5 seasons. I've watched this kid grow up in the state of Michigan from like little to where he is now. He's a superstar. And for him to be on this stage with these players around him, every single player on this American team is going to end up a good college basketball player. Many of them are going to end up pros. And Acuff, without a doubt, the entire time, every second he was on the court, he was the best player on the court. He was the alpha. Everybody treated him like he was the centerpiece. Often in these events, you see teams that are just kind of collections of guys and nobody knows who's supposed to be the best player. Maybe they take turns. Everyone involved with USA on their chest at this event knew Darius Acuff was supposed to be the best player because he is the best player. And I have seen some, it's mostly Purdue people, I'll be honest. I've seen some Purdue people like, yeah, Jacobson might have been the best guy at this event. No, Daniel Jacobson was great. A lot of guys were good. Darius Acuff was a stone cold killer. He led this team in scoring like every single game, even when he was inefficient sometimes. He played the most minutes. He had 9 assists in the championship game with 26 points to go along with it. I'm convinced this dude is going to just take college basketball by storm wherever he plays, be a top 5 pick, and be one of the best guards in the NBA immediately.
Yeah, and six rebounds to go along with that, and 3 steals as well in that championship game. And this is no shade to Daniel Jacobson at all, but one of the reasons Daniel Jacobson was so good in this tournament is because guys like Acuff were just dumping him the ball, and he
Yeah.
was finishing. Which, credit to him, he is doing it. That gives me a transition into my next point. I think this set us up for the next at least 2 years. I think maybe even longer than that, next big man rivalry in the Big Ten in college basketball. Because I think from now on, it's going to be Morez versus Jacobson. Like, which one of those guys is better in their college career in the Big Ten moving forward, which I'm all for because I think both guys are good. And I think it's good for the Big Ten to kind of keep that, Purdue, Illinois thing going on too, as well. But I think that's going to be a rivalry moving forward in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'll tweak mine because that was essentially one of my 3 as well. Is that Morez is like on par with that, and that you're going to see these 2 bigs dominate the Big Ten for a couple of years and have a rivalry. I'll say this: I think Fears and Morez are way better than this tournament showed. For whatever reason, they were not playing huge minutes, but they were always productive when they were playing huge minutes. I've gone on record and said I like Fears and Morez as a duo better than Kofi and Io. I feel stronger about that after this tournament. I think these guys are going to be superstars in college. I think if you get at least 1 year of Fears at Illinois with Morez as a sophomore, I think Illinois will probably be my preseason favorite in the Big Ten, depending on what Purdue's roster looks like. But I just love that duo so much. My takeaway, I guess, will be I can't wait to see those guys on a team where they are featured and playing huge minutes. Like, I want that immediately. I want that right now. And I think there's no world where Brad Underwood like buries them. Can I go bold prediction with something?
How bold?
I think it's really bold. I think it's really bold. I think Morez Johnson is the best player on Illinois this season.
Wow, the best player.
Yeah, let's like broadly step back for a second here. Who's the best player on Illinois this season? You have to think about it, don't you? That's the
No,
point I'm trying to make.
damn. I didn't even get a second. It's
Who's the best player?
Humricious.
Then I'm definitely taking Morez.
Well, you would say it's Kylan Boswell, probably, right?
Yeah, and I think there's an argument it's Morez. But I think if you ask Illinois fans who their best player is, they have to think about it. There's a moment of hesitation of like, well, it might be Boswell, it might be Kasparis, it might be Humrickhouse, it might be Will Riley. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who's good. And when nobody knows who's going to be the alpha, what that does is it opens the door for production. And when I think of Morez Johnson, the one word I think of is like, this dude just produces. If you put him on the floor for 10 minutes, he's going to get you 10 rebounds. He's tenacious. He's relentless. And I think that's going to translate. And whether it's at the 4 or the 5, I would assume it's probably at the 5. I think this dude's going to be too good to keep off the floor.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to push back on that too much because I think Morez is that talented.
Yeah.
I truly do. So I'm not mad at that take. The last one that I had from this tournament combination, one, you already spoke on it. Jasper Johnson is going to be a killer when he does go to college. Like, that dude's going to be special. Like, the same way you spoke about Acuff, I think Jasper Johnson is going to have that same effect at the college level. And the last one, I'm kind of sad that Darian Reed's going to Bama because I think that kid should play year 1 as a freshman. I think he's that good. And I hope he does play for Bama in a role player role this year because I think anytime he touched the floor in this tournament, I thought he was productive, played extremely hard. I really love his game. I love the way he plays basketball. I hope he gets a role for Alabama this season. I'll be sad if he kind of gets buried behind the other guys.
I think he will. I don't think it'll be huge, but I agree. That's why people got to be so high on Alabama, though, because like a player that talented is talked about like a role player. My final takeaway, it's back to Daniel Jacobson, Big Dan, as I like to call him. This, I think, was a hot take 2 weeks ago. I think it's like a lukewarm take now, but I'm doubling and tripling down on this, and we're probably gonna have to do full segments on this in the next couple weeks. I'll be shocked if Daniel Jacobson doesn't start at center for Purdue next season. I'll be shocked. This was not the plan. This was not the plan. And you and I haven't talked about this much. I've talked about it in the Discord. But this is where I'm at with this. Daniel Jacobson proved in this event that he is really like a transcendent shot blocker. Like he broke the record in this event in Team USA history. He broke Miles Turner's record of most block shots. So like that is a transcendent shot blocker. What Miles Turner was in college and then what he turned into the NBA. And Daniel Jacobson right now as a prospect is that level of a rim protector. Like we talked about how shot blocking is an art. It's not just being big. Like this dude to me is instantly the best rim protector Purdue's had in this entire 2-decade run of huge big men they've had. The only big question with Jacobson is the offense going to translate? Does he have any sort of low post game? And can he stay out of foul trouble? You're making a weird face. I'm scared.
Did you just call him the best shot blocker that Purdue's had?
Yeah, I think he's the best rim protector that Purdue's had.
Better than Edey?
Edey was not a true rim protector like that. He wasn't.
Ooh, I think he was.
Edey wasn't hunting blocks the way Daniel Jacobson will. Edey got them because he's big and he's great, don't get me wrong, but Edey more often than not was trying to avoid the play. Like
I think people were trying to avoid Edey. I think people will actually go at Jacobson. But I agree with your sentiment that his timing and his ability to block shots is of that. Like, whatever you want to say about his, where he's at physically, where he's at offensively, at the worst, he is going to be a high-level rim protector shot blocker because of his timing and his length, like you said.
How many blocks a game do you think Daniel Jacobson will average for Purdue if he plays 20 minutes?
Like probably like round up level 2, so like 1.7.
Close to 2, right?
Yeah, close to 2.
In 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Edey averaged 2.2 in 32 minutes this year. Like
people didn't go at him.
But I understood, but like that's not, he wasn't out there seeking them even. He was just like gonna stand there and intimidate. That's not shot blocking.
Did Zach Edey play at the under 18 level for Canada?
I mean he was in that one tournament, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many blocks he had in that tournament.
We can look it up. We can try to find it. I would guess it wasn't Jacobson's.
But either or, whether it's what I'm saying or what you're saying here, we're comparing to, I think, good shot blockers.
Fine, fair. Edey, I would define as a better defensive player than he was a shot blocker. Like his impact came from his positioning and his stature and his smarts more than it did blocking shots themselves. Could he have blocked more? Probably. It also probably would have brought him out of position, which would have hurt Purdue's basketball team. So the point is, Jacobson, to me, if you put him on the floor for 30 minutes, he's going to block like 3 shots. I think he's a transcendent shot blocker. So the question is, does the offensive stuff translate? And Card, I had this as a hot take before Cannon Catchings decommitted. I think that Matt Painter wants to play a giant. I think that's just how Matt Painter wants to run things. If he had his choice, he would always prefer that his center is over 7 feet tall. No matter how good Trey Kaufman-Renn is. You know what Trey Kaufman-Renn is not? He's not 7 feet tall. He can't control that. So like the big elephant in the room here would be that if TKR is supposed to be the featured post guy, then you don't want to play a center. However, Jacobson can stretch the floor a little bit. So you don't have to have Jacobson like on the block full time. You can still feature TKR as a post guy with Jacobson floating to the perimeter. And I think it'll work. And as long as his defensive gifts translate, I don't know how you keep this kid off the floor. He doesn't need to play 35 minutes, but like to me, if we're saying Acuff was the best player, Jacobson was the second best player at this event, it's not really negotiating to me. Like he was that good. And to me, Painter's going to want that. Catchings is out now, so that means he would just need to beat out Colvin or Heidi, or I guess Fletcher Lawyer, but realistically it's Colvin, and Colvin comes off the bench, and I think that works.
Okay. I know this isn't a Purdue video. Do you think that upsets TKR if they do that?
I don't. I don't.
Okay,
Because as long as TKR is getting the post touches, I don't think he cares. And I think he would still get them next to Jacobson.
got you. How many block shots did Jacobson have in this tournament again?
I don't know the per game averages. I don't.
Oh, I thought, but total, didn't you say? Wasn't it the same as? I can look at the stat too. I thought it was like 16 or 17. What it was?
He had 19 blocks in this tournament, which passed Miles Turner's 18 for the most blocks by an American at this event.
Okay, all right. Well, he had more blocks than Edie had at the U19 level. So
19 shots in 6 games. So he averaged over 3 blocks a game while playing like 20 minutes.
special. Shout out to Argentina.
All right. Congrats to Team USA. Do we get to claim a gold medal for that? Did we win a championship here?
No,
Do you identify as an American?
not necessarily. No.
The NBA draft is coming up, and I've got something awesome for you. We are partnering with the people at NBA 2K Lab. NBA 2K is the best video game on earth. The people at 2K Lab are making some awesome stuff to make that game even more fun, and they just launched their 2024 NBA Draft Simulator, where you can find the official Sleepers Media big board. We ranked our top 75 players in this draft class. Me, Carter, Brian Ralph, Riley Davis. We did it together, and it is featured on the 2K Lab NBA Draft Simulator. You can take control of any team in the draft, play GM with just one click, and see our entire rankings before these videos even come out. Check out the link in the description of this video to try out the draft sim for yourself, and you can find more mini games at nba2klab.com/NBA-mini-games.